welcome to this edition of Miles Ahead, and this time we're looking at the Audi RS6. Now we're going to do a quick walk around, but at the end of the video, this is the third RS video we've done, so it'd be the RS6, the RS7 and the RSQ8. So just going to try and round up my thoughts on all three and put a gun against my head and try and pick a favourite. But anyway, let's get on with the RS6. So this is the RS6 Carbon Black Edition. So starting price of this is £101,850, and Carbon Black gets you the 22-inch wheels and all the black bits on the surround and some carbon fibre trim. So we'll go and have a quick look at that. So you can hear the engine whirring away from the drive over here. So all of the fascia is done in black, and you get these carbon fibre trims around here. I'll have a quick look at the wheels as well, because I think they're really quite nice. So yeah, as standard you get the 21s, these comes with the 22s. So the other options on this car are the panoramic roof, which we'll have a look at when we get inside. That's £1,950. It comes with the comfort and sound pack, which is £2,295, which gives you the 360-degree cameras, park assist, and the premium Bang & Olufsen sound system, which is actually really good. That's the same one that comes on the other cars, which you'll get to at the end of the video. But yeah, that's a really good sound system. And City Assist, which is £1,375, which gets you front and side sensors and blind spot assist. And blind spot assist is quite good, but yeah, it's okay. The RS exhaust system, which you'd probably want to hear that 4-litre twin turbo V8 kicking out its 600 horsepower. That's £1,450, and a bit tight, electric mirrors, £150. They do not come as standard. So once you factor in delivery fees and all that jazz, this is tipping the scales at £112,030. But I do think it's a rather fabulous looking car. I mean, this really is the king of estates, isn't it? You think of fast estates, you think of the Audi RS6. It's a bit of an institution in that regard, and you know, this model really hasn't let them down. I think it's a really good car, but we'll get on to a bit more of that on the drive along. I'll have a quick look at these RS exhausts here. So it's got the open and shut valve, so when you've got it in efficiency and comfort modes, it's actually quite mute and quiet, but when you stick it to dynamic and RS mode, it really does give off a bit more noise, which is what you want. And there's the carbon fibre trims down the back there, which is part of the carbon black pack. So just have a quick look in the boot, as you'd expect, because it is an estate. The boot is massive. We've just been down for a week in Dorset with family, got everything in there, no drama at all. Electrically operated tailgate as well, which is handy. And we'll just have a quick look in the rear seats. We're here, so you get all these blacked out windows as well, which is really good. And in the back, yeah, it's really nice in here. Plenty of space, plenty of comfort. Got the ISOFIX for the kids' seat. Only black mark is there's no USB or USB-C charging cables down there, so you'd have to get an adapter for the 12-volt battery down there. But I mean, it's not the end of the world. You get cup holders in the armrest and all that jazz. Will that shut? Yeah, I was thinking about it. Put that away up there. So it does have a middle seat, so you can take 5 people along if you want. But we'll just have a quick look at the cockpit. So as with the RS7 and RSQ8, it's a lovely cockpit. It's Audi's MMI cockpit, and it's a really good, nice place to be. Start at the doors, you get a bit of a carbon fibre trim here. That's part of the black pack. You get nice tread plates. It does come with puddle lights that shine the Audi Sport logo down there. You get the RS logo mats and all that as well, and some RS logo on the steering wheel there too. And yeah, so here's the cockpit. So you get the 2 touch screens. If I start the engine, get a bit of noise from that V8 as it starts up, always a welcome addition. So let me shut the door, stop it from beeping away. So yeah, if we start this up here, so you get your temperature controls and all that down here, and then you've got the rest of the car up there. So you want to change between driving modes. It's all easily done in here in efficiency at the moment, but you can set up the RS buttons. So when you press those, that comes up and it gives you the sort of the hockey stick rev match there. And I'm not sure that'll come through on the audio for the video, but because I've got the RS1 set up in all the most aggressive guys, you know, the exhaust immediately fires up. So if I cycle that back through to efficiency, everything just calms down. You can see the rev needle calm down there as well. So yeah, got all the buttons on the pedals, on the steering wheel here rather, so it's all easy enough to use. So if we want to go through, for example, pick your radio station, go to the sat nav. So this is quite good because when you press view on there, you can actually have the sat nav take over the dominant view in the background there, and I think that's quite a nice feature. It's really quite a configurable setup as there, but you know, as with the others, I mean, I do really like the setup here. I mean, it feels familiar from one car to the next, which is nice, and it's, you know, it feels like a nice place to be, and you can set all your ambient lighting, all that sort of stuff. Storage compartments, a couple of USB-C chargers down there, and a wireless charging plate for your phone, a couple of cup holders in here. Nice bit of Alcantara on the gear light lever again, which is you know, soothing to the touch. Same with the steering wheel, that's got the Alcantara headline as well. We've got the sunroof here as well, so it comes with the panoramic roof. You know, nice to have, and you get it in the back there as well, so they can be separately managed as well at the back, so you can have it darker at the back and lighter at the front if that's what you want. So yeah, I mean, I do really like it in here. It's just a lovely, comfortable cockpit. Let's see how far I've driven in it actually, a long-term memory. So yeah, I've done 503 miles in it, and I would say I've enjoyed pretty much all of them. But, you know, there's a couple of other bits to highlight perhaps as well. So the car will park itself. You can ask it to find a parking space, and it'll do all that sort of stuff for you. That's really easy to use. Yeah, it's just intuitive, nice and easy, familiar place to be. And yeah, you know, I do really like it. And having that RS mode button, which is a feature of all of the Audi RS cars, is a nice thing to have. But it's a little bit tempting when you're cruising along in efficiency and you think, I could just press that button and a bit of fun. But anyway, we'll get on to the drive along now, and yeah, we'll try and compare this to the RS7 and RSQ8 as well. So what's the RS6 like out on the road? Well, really nice. It's so smooth. I mean, that's the thing that surprised me most about it, because you've got that thumping great V8 under the engine. You'd expect it to be a bit more of a hooligan than it is, but actually it's a very pliant, comfortable, serene ride to it, and it's just a really, really nice place to be. As I mentioned, you know, we've covered over 500 miles in it, and a lot of that was on the motorway. It was just so good in that setting, so good. Just gobbled up the miles, no drama at all. And you know, you can cruise along in it, but you just know that you've got that huge dollop of power and acceleration just waiting to be called upon, and it kicks into life. I mean, that's just an efficiency mode. I mean, it's not slow in any mode, this car, at all. It just takes off to the horizon, and it's, you know, it's really good. But you might expect that of a big car, expect it to be, you know, really good in that setting. So, you know, previous generations of RS6, you know, no one's ever complained about the speed in them, but there have been some complaints about the agility and, you know, whether or not they're satisfying drivers' cars. Well, I really think this is. I mean, the four-wheel steering makes a difference. I think makes it much more agile and much more controllable. There's a nice sense of connection to the road through the wheel, and yeah, you know, everything comes together quite nicely. So, you know, which would you choose between this, the RS7 and the RSQ8? Now, I think Audi have been really clever here, because they've all got that 4-litre twin-turbo V8 engine. They all do 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds. They're all supremely comfortable, beautifully put together. They've got the same MMI cockpit. So you could argue that it's just a choice. Well, do you want an SUV, an estate, or a saloon? And you know, that will to some extent govern the choice. But to go back, the RS7 was the first car that we reviewed in this sort of series, and I found that to be a bit more aggressive than the RS6, or at least found myself, you know, compelled to drive it faster than I have the RS6. The RSQ8, which is the second car we reviewed, I'll post the links to these videos in the video description down below if you want to check those out as well. You were always aware of the mass of the RSQ8. I mean, that was arguably the most impressive of the three, just because it's such a big car, and yet the handling was so agile. The anti-roll bar in there works superbly, but you were always aware that it was the car's trickery that was controlling what was going on. It wasn't you being, you know, an excellent driver, because I mean, half the time some of the stuff and speed you're going into corners in the RSQ8, you'd have ended up in a hedge. It was just, you know, really, really impressive. Like, as a feat of engineering, the RSQ8 is quite something to drive. But you know, it does detract a little bit from the engagement, because you are always aware that it's not you that's, you know, making it do what it's doing. So you get a bit more connection with the RS7 and the RS6. And I really like both. It's so difficult to try and choose a favourite between them. And the RS6 for me is the pick, just because if this isn't the best estate car in the world, then I can't see that there's anything better. It is superb, and it's such a good all-rounder, and it's got such a varied brief as well. You know, when you're sitting down to design a car like this, it's got to be powerful, it's got to drive well, it's got to be agile and be engaging and be fun, and it's got to be supremely practical as well, and it just nails all three of those really well. I mean, the RS7 isn't an impractical car. It's got a big boot, it's got sloping roofline at the back, which pinches a bit of headroom, which this doesn't have, and it's really comfortable. But like I said, I just felt compelled to drive the RS7 a lot faster than I've driven this, and I can't quite put my finger on why. There's just something more aggressive about it, whereas I feel that the RS6 is slightly more laid back, but the characters are more distinct in it, you know, between efficiency and comfort and all the way into dynamic and then into your RS modes. It's just, you know, it does have that different character to it at each stage, and it just feels so well developed. And like I say, I think, you know, the other thing in its corner is, you know, you think of an estate car, you think of the RS6, you know, talking about dream garages, most people go, well, I need something practical, I'll stick an RS6 in there, because, you know, the SUV is always going to split opinion as well. They're not for everyone. You know, the RSQ8, it was a huge lump of a car, like supremely agile thing, and usable and enjoyable and engaging to drive. But yeah, like I say, you're always aware that someone else, or something else rather, all the technology underneath you was responsible for the most part in what was going on there, whereas with the RS7 and RS6 you get a bit more sense that you're having a say in what's going on with it, and you know, for that reason that pushes them ahead. And I just think that this RS6 as an all-round package, it takes some beating, it really does. And just sign off on that exhaust note before we go. It just hunkers down and then goes, and like really kicks off a lot of noise, and it's quite nice. But I mean, I guess one thing you could say is you might want a bit more noise from it, and that is a complaint across all three as well. They could be a little bit louder if you want a full-on hooligan mode. There could be a bit more of a raucous noise emanating from that V8, but I mean, you know, you're splitting hairs on there. The performance is there, and it just goes. I mean, it's really good. You'd never get bored of doing that either. It takes a second to kick down the gear, and it just adds to that sense of theatre that you know that it's all about to kick off. I mean, they're three fabulous cars, but yeah, putting a gun against my head, I would have to say that the RS6 is the pick of the bunch. They're all great, but this is the greatest of the three. Hope you've enjoyed this video. We've got loads more coming up on the channel, so please hit subscribe, please like the video if you did. Yeah, like I said, we've got loads more reviews coming up. We've got a Bentley Bentayga, we've got a Jeep Renegade 4xe, we've got an Alfa Romeo Stelvio, so a bit of SUV coverage, Aston Martin DBX as well, Aston Martin DBS, and we've got Honda E as well coming, and an Audi e-tron S. So got all those to look forward to as well. So yeah, please hit subscribe, and hopefully see you soon. Thanks.